Despite many efforts, gender-based violence is still a problem everywhere, every day, including Vietnam, and remains to be one of the most pervasive human rights violations in the world today. It is estimated that 1 in every 3 women globally experience violence over their lifetimes. Now, the COVID-19 outbreak may be exacerbating the problem. The National Study on Violence Against Women in 2019 showed that nearly 2 in 3 married women, about 63%, have experienced one or more forms of physical, sexual, emotional, and economic violence and controlling behaviors by their husbands in their lifetime, and almost 32% in the last 12 months. Violence against women remains very much hidden. Half of women who experienced violence by husbands had never told anyone. No matter where violence against women happens, in what forms it takes, and whom it impacts, it must be stopped. The promise of the Sustainable Development Goals to leave no one behind will not be fulfilled without ending violence against women. Greetings from Shining Vietnam on VTC10 Net Việt. On today's show, we'll be talking about gender-based violence here in Vietnam, and especially the approaches to protect women and girls in the fight against the gender-based violence here. And the guest speaker in our program today is Mr. Cho, the country director of KOICA here in Vietnam. So thank you, Mr. Cho, for joining us. The first question is, could you please share with us about the experience of South Korea, about the model of house shelter for the victims of gender-based violence?
Yes, in Korea, from the year 2005, we had established a system that take care of the gender-based violence, the victims of gender-based violence, and the victims of domestic violences. In the past, people, especially the victims, didn't have any places to go when they are victimized, and it causes strong distress to the people who are victimized. But noticing these problems, the civilized organizations and civil societies, and they asked the government to protect these victims. And so our government, in cooperation with the civil societies, we came up with the Hebaragi Center or sunflower centers. Our Sunflower Center focuses two tracks approaches. The first one is to investigate the gender-based violence cases, and the second one is to protect and support the victims of the gender-based violence. The second category of support includes counseling and medical checkup and service, and also the legal support, and if necessary, economic support as well. So our model is applied in Vietnam and in Quang Ninh. Yes, and so today, this morning, I have a chance to observe the Quang Ninh Anh Duong house, and I think they are doing very wonderful jobs here.
So what are your expectations for implementing this model in Quang Ninh province?
I hope usually the victims, they do not want to express or show themselves outside. So the first thing, the Anh Duong house has to publicize their presence. Yes, people who needs the support they should know there is a place that they can rely on when they have problems, and that's one of the best, most important things. And the second one is that because Anh Duong house provides complicated services, integrated services, including counseling, medical checkups, and services, and legal advices, and so on. So in that way, if they the victims are if the cases increase for victims support, and then the more victims they turn out and then ask help. We should not allow victims to be silent. They are the people who need the support.
In times of crisis such as the COVID-19 outbreak, women and girls may be at higher risk of intimate partner violence and other different forms of violence caused by other members of the family due to the confined environment at home for a prolonged period of time, restrictions of movement, and heightened stress and tensions in the household. Other forms of gender-based violence may also permeate, including sexual exploitation and abuse in these situations. In some countries, the number of women calling for help has doubled. In Vietnam, gender-based violence service providers have also observed increases of calls over the past months.
Nạn bạo lực về phụ nữ và trẻ em thì cũng diễn ra hàng ngày. Và cũng có rất nhiều những cái tình huống mà trực tiếp ở Quảng Ninh cũng đã có. Ví dụ như tôi nói là gần đây nhất là cái việc mà bạo lực trong học đường là các học sinh đánh nhau chẳng hạn ở trên thị xã Đông Triều chúng ta cũng đã có, hay là một số những cái địa phương khác. Tình trạng về bạo lực phụ nữ cũng như là trẻ em thì cũng đang, tôi nghĩ là cũng đang diễn ra hàng ngày qua cái khảo sát của các cái cơ quan, tổ chức phi chính phủ, ví dụ như trong đó có tổ chức KOICA, tổ chức UNFPA, thì các tổ chức đó cũng có những cái con số thống kê khảo sát, ví dụ như trên 50% số phụ nữ mà được hỏi là trong cái quá trình từ ngày mình sinh ra đến thời điểm này có bị bạo lực bằng các cái hình thức khác nhau không, thì cơ bản thì phụ nữ đến cái số là đến trên 90% đều trả lời rằng đã từng bị bạo lực, có thể bạo lực về thể chất, có thể bị bạo lực tinh thần.
Recently, a visit led by representatives from the Ministry of Labour, Invalids and Social Affairs, Malaysia, and the United Nations Population Fund, UNFPA, and the Korea International Cooperation Agency, KOICA, to Anh Duong Sunshine House, a shelter of supporting essential services to victims of violence against women and girls, was made in Quang Ninh province. The delegation was chaired by Mr. Lê Khánh Lương, Vice Director and Officer in charge of Gender Equality Department, Malaysia, Ms. Naomi Kitahara, UNFPA representative, Mr. Cho Han Dok, Country Director of KOICA Vietnam. The Anh Duong House shelter has been managed by Quang Ninh Provincial Social Work Center under Quang Ninh Provincial Department of Labour, Invalids and Social Affairs with technical and financial support from UNFPA and KOICA. The toll-free hotline 180-1769 is operational to receive information on incidents of gender-based violence for urgent response and online counseling, no matters of gender-based violence.
In Vietnam, to address the issue of gender-based violence, we have only limited services available so far. We have, in some locations, temporary shelters to receive survivors of violence. But then what is new in Quang Ninh province, which we helped to establish in partnership with KOICA, is actually integrated service provision. So it's not just the sheltering, but also the medical services and care, counseling, so psychological care side of it, justice, police protection, social work. So all this in one place, because we are convinced that if victims have to go around to look for different services, this can lead to re-victimization of victims. And this is definitely something that we want to avoid because we should be providing services, comprehensive services from the perspectives of the victims. So that is new for Quang Ninh. So in terms of the different kinds of services, as I said, this is medical care, psychological care, police protection, social services, as well as the justice and legal services.
In the afternoon of the same day, the delegation attended the communication event Men Joining Hands to End Sexual Harassment at a Workplace at Hòn Gai Coal Company, Quang Ninh. The event aims to raise men's awareness about prevention of gender-based violence. This event received the participation of a large number of men from Hòn Gai Coal Company. This communication event calls on all to join in our efforts to ensure all women and girls can enjoy life free of violence, have equal access to opportunities and resources, take part in leadership positions, and participate in the realization of the National Sustainable Development Goals. You attended the communication event at the coal company here in Quang Ninh. So what is your opinion, your feelings about the participation and also the attitude of the employees of this company toward the gender-based violence, especially at the workplace?
Yes, normally, including me, our society has been constructed with the male dominance. So the males are not comfortable, or they don't know very much about the how much they are violating their words or hurting their words. By their words, they hurt their female colleagues. But with the entertaining way of moderators, people enjoyed the program, and I observed that people are enjoying but learning and getting serious about the questions and the issues of the gender-based violence. And I think it's wonderful to observe this, and I am very grateful to the board members of this company and the employees.
This model is being implemented here in Vietnam, so do you have any intention to give support or assistance to other organizations and provinces to build up more these models in the future?
Yes. This morning, when we had a meeting with the Anh Duong house, they briefed me very important cases of helping the victims who wanted to commit suicide. But because luckily she asked help to the Anh Duong house, she regained her dignity, and she didn't find any reason to commit suicide because she was the victim. And so we think the Anh Duong house model is very valuable, and the people who have been involved in this project, they also ask the replication of these models throughout the provinces of Vietnam. And so because we put we started a very important model, we would like to work together with the Vietnamese stakeholders. We will try to disseminate and replicate this model to other provinces as well. And I hope Quang Ninh Anh Duong house shall become a leader in this gender-based in eliminating gender-based violence in Vietnam.
Once again, thank you for joining us and for your sharings today.
Thank you very much.
And that's all we have for this episode of Sharing Vietnam today. For comment and feedback, don't hesitate to write to us at sharingvietnam@netvietttv.net. Thank you for watching, and goodbye for now.